Hey everybody, welcome to the shop. Today we're going to be unboxing a chainsaw. We're going to be using it a little bit, kind of seeing how well this thing actually works. So be sure to stick around. Welcome. Like I said, today we're going to be unboxing this chainsaw. This is the Portland 14-inch chainsaw, and this is electric power. Takes a power cord, no batteries, no gas, does need bar oil, but you plug it into an extension cord and go. Now, some people might find this funny. You got to have a gas saw, you know what I mean? You guys know I run battery saws quite a bit, carving with my steels, and I run gas as well. You know what I don't have? I do not have a corded chainsaw. You might say, well, geez, Kyle, you always run steel. Why did you buy the Portland? Why? Well, you know what? Not everybody can afford a big name brand saw. Not that my saws are big or super expensive or anything, but not everybody can afford that. Some people are on a budget. Some people just need to trim the small branches on their property. Maybe if you want to start to chainsaw carve and you're looking for a saw that is super cheap and maybe you can just give it a try, and if you hate it, no big deal, you didn't spend a ton of money, right? Well, maybe this will be the saw for you. I don't really know. I haven't used this thing at all. Just got it, still in the box. This is the plan. We're going to unbox this thing. We're going to go through it, take a look at it, see what I'm the only one here, see what I think about it. And then we're going to take it outside and we're going to cut some black walnut, which is probably 6 inches in diameter. We'll make a couple cuts. And then we're seriously going to push this thing to the limit, like to the limit, and cut a piece of cherry that's close to 20 inches across. I don't think it's going to cut through that cherry. I really don't. I think this thing is going to just smoke, toast, and be done. But hey, whatever. This is 9 amps, bar length is 14, the cord length is 17 inches, and it's 120 volt, so it just takes a regular plug. Now, you might be wondering where I got this bad boy. Harbor Freight. So this is a Harbor Freight chainsaw. If you get their emails or if you shop there quite a bit, you know they always have a deal. I was able to get this thing with 25% off. Normally this saw is like 47 or 49 something and change, just under 50 bucks. Before a deal. So I mean, this is cheap. We are reviewing a cheap saw. Let's go ahead and start unboxing it here. Got just some tape holding this box shut. A couple different spots. I've already done a little research on this. I know I can get Oregon chains to replace it. I'm assuming that's probably what's on it already, is an Oregon chain. If I can get the chains to replace it, I'm thinking you can probably get a bar as well. Who knows? We might not even make it to a new bar and chain on this thing before it's fried, but we're going to find out. This is what's in the box. That thing is green. Nothing else in there. Trash that. Let's see here. Got a nice little scabbard on the bar. Got our plug. There's obviously no chain brake right off the bat. There's no chain brake. So, I mean, if we start dealing with kickback, that's not really the best sign that there's no chain brake. Although you got this hard guard for your hand, so it's not, you know, I mean, I guess your hand will kind of stop it. Whatever. Looks like we got an on switch, safety switch. Yeah, put it on. That stuff we'll play with outside. On top, it looks like this is where the bar oil goes. They provide you with some. That's kind of nice. A little bar oil. Got our manual. Manuals usually just go in a drawer that I have, so if I have any issues down the road, I've got it to look back on. There's going to be 2 videos using this saw. This is the part 1. Part 2, if that chain is still holding up, we'll keep running it. If not, and the saw can make it to a part 2 video. If you want to hear what that second video is going to be, you got to watch to the end. So, we got some oil, we got an Allen wrench here, and another wrench. This is probably for the bolt that holds the bar on. Yeah. Got some weird Yeah, some nut cap thing. So let's get rid of this. Oh yeah. Ha! So on the box, the bar just says Portland. That's what I expected the bar to say in the box. When you open it, there's nothing on that side. But this side actually says Oregon Double Guard 91. Which is actually kind of nice because you definitely know an Oregon fits on this thing. Cool. So there's probably some specs and numbers for direct replacement. Right off the bat, this chain is so stinking tight. I can't even spin the thing. So what we need to do is grab the wrench and loosen this nut. When you look in the front, the Allen wrench goes up here. My guess is that's going to be to loosen that chain. Which, this is kind of a pain in the butt. Kind of wish it was just a regular screwdriver like my Steels. But hey, what do you expect, for less than 50 bucks? Can't expect a whole lot, I guess. Got that chain super loose. Now, I like to get it, like that, where it's hanging down, and then I'll just tighten it up. Then you can see it tighten up. Leave it a little loose. Tighten that nut back up. Bad thing about this wrench is I am already scratching the heck out of this saw with this wrench design. Look at this. See that? Plastic right there. And down here. The wrench goes around and shaves the plastic right off the cover. Probably the bend in it. The wrench has a bend. So, it's cheap. What are you going to do? This stuff is about as thin as cooking oil, like peanut oil, vegetable oil, if not thinner. Oh my word. The saw oil I have is a lot thicker than this stuff for my gas powered saws, so I don't know how much cutting I'm going to be able to do. I mean, that stuff is super thin. I don't even know how well that's going to hold up, but I guess we'll find out. This is going to stink when it runs. Alright, so they give you this little bottle. This says it'll hold 120, but they don't even give you enough to fill it. So, whatever. This place is crazy. There is a little notch down here on the bottom, so I guess when you're done, you can just, or not when you're done, but you can put the cord in there. Probably help it from unplugging when you're using the saw, or when you go for storage, it's out of the way. There is a little guard here for the plug. And this is only a 2-pronged plug, so don't be running this thing in the rain because you're probably going to get shocked. Should be a 3-pronged plug with a ground. I don't really know how I feel about this thing right now. I don't even know if I want to waste my time. But we're already so far into this video, so I really have my doubts about this thing. I mean, look, look at the dogs on it. Look at this. He's so chintzy. This is great. I'll tell you though, you guys, seriously, I'm going into this with an open mind. I know I'm laughing, I'm having fun, as you should be you should be as well. I mean, it's always fun. Somebody out there might be watching this thinking, I really am thinking about buying this saw, and that's fine. I'm going at this still with an open mind. We've got this thing ready to go. I'm not going to touch up that chain. I'm not going to hit it with a file right now or anything like that. We're just going to run a lead cord outside. We're going to bring this thing out. We're going to custom walnut and go into that big piece of cherry. Let's head outside. As we're outside the shop getting ready to run the Portland saw, I've got a roughly 6-inch piece of black walnut here. And behind me, we've got a 20-inch piece of cherry. Now the plan is I'm going to make probably 2 cuts here on the walnut, and then we'll see if we can get a big slice off the cherry. It's really going to see how this saw performs, and I know we're going to really be pushing it to its max on that cherry, and if it doesn't cut all the way through, then it doesn't. But I will be keeping these cuts in real time, and we'll see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and start cutting this walnut first. I'd say the chain on this cut's really rough. I mean, the saw runs, it runs rough, but it runs. It cuts. It's cheap, you know, it's less than 50 bucks. The cuts are okay. I mean, I get a smoother cut with my steel saws and a good chain, but it cuts, it gets it done. So let's jump over to the piece of cherry. I'll move the camera and see what we can do. Took a few minutes, but the saw actually did it. You could smell that nasty oil burning though. The Portland, not too bad. Well guys, there you have it. Cut 2 small pieces of black walnut right around that 6-inch girth mark, you know. We cut through a 20-inch piece of cherry. This thing definitely had to work for it. Had to work on that walnut too. I mean, what I think the problem is the chain is just too aggressive for this saw. If this saw had a chain like my MSA 200 or MSA 160, I think it would do much better. You know, I mean, what is this? This is the quarter pitch, you know, this is the small Pico chain, the small stuff. It's this is 50 gauge chain on here. This is too much chain for that saw. Really, it should be a much smaller chain, and I think you'd get much cleaner cuts. I mean, really, this thing is meant for smaller stuff. Even though it's got a 14-inch bar on it, I mean, I feel like chainsaw companies and makers put a big bar on saws that really can't handle it because that's what sells it, you know? Oh, I got an 18-inch bar on this saw, you know, the biggest one I can get. And then you go run the saw and the thing is just bogs down and it just can't do it. This saw, 14, yeah, it's there, it did it, it cut a 20, but I mean, I'd rather see it with a 12, to be honest. I think if it had a 12-inch bar like my steel here, this thing would rip pretty good. I also think that if it had quarter pitch instead of the 3/8 smaller Pico chain, you know, I think it would perform even better. First impressions using this, it's chintzy and cheap feeling, and it rattles and makes a ton of noise, and oh my word, it came from Harbor Freight, and you can tell. Homeowner, you want a cheap saw to clean up the branches in the yard? Again, you know what? You're not going to use it very much. In the summer, a couple times, maybe in the winter, something falls. It might be worth it. Just remember, it's only a 2-prong instead of a 3. it rains, it gets wet, you might get zapped. So just keep that in mind. But I see a lot of saws like this are that way too. So, you know, again, I don't think I'd pay full price for it. I'd make sure to get a coupon when that comes out through Harbor Freight, unless you want to buy it through Amazon and help support my channel. There'll be links down below to Amazon for this saw. I'll also, no, I won't have any other links. It'll be just to this saw. So you guys buy the saw through there. It'll help support my channel and help support the work that I'm doing. Now, the thing I was going to tell you guys at the end of the video is I think I'm going to try to carve a small bear using just the Portland chainsaw. Why? Why would I do such a thing? That's insane, right? Well, somebody on a budget, very small budget, might want to try chainsaw carving. They might pick up their home series brush cutting cheap saw, right? And say, I'm going to give this thing a go. Or they might want to try this saw. And so I'm going to try it out. I'm going to give it a go. We're going to try to carve a small bear. I'm not doing a ton of detail. I'm not going to, bust out a gas saw. I'm not going to pull out my angle grinder, die grinders, none of that. We're just going to rough cut a bear using only this with the chain provided. And let's see how it goes, And you guys can make the decision as to whether or not this would be a good first saw for you to start with. And I'll also give you my opinion on it at the end of the video, kind of like this one. So that's something you guys can look forward to in the future. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Be sure to hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.